It is literally hotter than a dog's nutsack right now.
Oh man, you don't say.
It's 104 today. And if you hear a quiet drone of my oscillating fan right there, and it's bugging you out there, well,
because he has a
deal.
fan.
Just deal. Oh, but yeah, that was Money in the Bank, and talk about a pay-per-view of extremes.
Oh.
Just on all fronts, really.
Yeah.
Just extreme happiness for some, extreme annoyance for some.
I don't want anybody else. When I think about Baron Corbin, I touch myself.
And you alone. I mean, on the whole, it wasn't a bad pay-per-view. I mean, I liked it more than Backlash.
Yeah.
Certainly liked it more than Payback. Certainly liked it more than Extreme Rules. Even like the Fatal 5-Way at the end of Extreme Rules was, basically saved that pay-per-view. But I mean, it's not high marks to say that. But yeah, Money in the Bank to me was, very much, there was like no real middle ground as far as. Ooh, excuse me. So, yeah, like there was no middle ground. It was all peaks and valleys, and when it was a peak, it was a peak, and when it was a valley, it was a valley. And do you just want to get to the gift exchange right away?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. What do we got here? Oh, a pouch. I always wanted one. Oh. What is this a hat? What is
Throw the receipt away.
what is this? It's a chapeau de, it's French, whatever it is. What is this? It's just like, is this like a beanie or something? What is this?
It's a do-rag.
Oh, it's a
WWE do-rag. Got it inside out.
Oh, you got it inside out. I was about, okay.
Looks
a little WWE do-rag. Oh. Like, I got confused by this. Like, what the hell is this part of it?
It's just really...
It's just a deluxe hat. One size fits most. Not to my gigantic Irish head, it won't. Oh, let's...
You gotta wear it now.
Yeah, of course I do. I know. It's like a...
It's like an aviator.
Yeah, like I was about to say, this is like a badly fit aviation helmet. Like, do I gotta, like, tie it like this? Like a bonnet? I don't know how people... I don't know
Dude, it looks awesome.
You're not just saying that.
It looks ridiculous.
You can't even, like, it's so badly fit that you can't even, like, how is anyone supposed to know that this is, like, this is WWE? Like, you have to look at the top of my head. I must be wearing this wrong, but how else can you wear it? This looks, this is
You look like the only person in the audience wearing that, actually, probably.
Yeah. It's like, we gotta make do-rags. That's what our audience wants.
The do-rag part is, like, purposefully shaped into, like, a abstract idea of what a do-rag has in back of it. It's almost like Kalisto's little back thing is, or...
Oh, yeah. I actually kind of want to applaud you. I would never in a million years think to get you one of these. And now I'll never have to because you gave this to me.
I gave it to you first.
This reminds me of those, like, weird hats that, like, those alternative chefs wear and, like when they're driving around their taco trucks. Yeah, this looks like what they would wear. God damn it.
Hey, you're not going to wear it the whole time.
Not in 95 degrees, not in this heat.
I chose the perfect time to get you that.
Yes. Get me something that'll give me heat stroke. Thank you.
It's not as bad as having to wear that little tiny Mysterio mask during this weather.
Oh.
That would have been freaking horrible.
Here you are, man. I didn't even bother wrapping it.
I didn't wrap mine.
No, but at least you put it in your own bag.
Okay.
All right, just
feels like it's like a DVD. No, it's too soft. Oh, it's some kind of reading or sticker material or something. Mad Libs, world's greatest word game.
But not just any Mad Libs.
Concept created by Roger Bouquet.
Not just any Mad Libs, but
If you just heard WWE Mad Libs. If you just heard someone say introducing our challenger, weighing in at blank number pounds, blank person in the room, the blank noun, and from blank, okay, well, etc. It keeps going and going. Actually,
Yeah.
you just fill in the.
Oh yeah, everyone knows what Mad Libs
Yeah.
are, but just.
I'm describing. I just realized I'm describing Mad Libs.
Yeah.
I thought that there would be some kind of catch.
No.
But it really is just WWE Mad Libs.
It's just WWE Mad Libs, yes. I know, right? It's what wouldn't they license? Like, what property would WWE just realize?
Just to read a few of these. All the right moves. If you want to compete like a WWE superstar, you've got to learn to verb like one.
Yeah, it's
Here are some adjective maneuvers. Okay, yeah.
yeah, like
Bio of a diva. Oh, that's
oh yeah,
that's a good one.
yeah.
Before becoming a WWE diva, person in the room, female.
Yeah, I think we're kind of at a loss for this one. Pretty much any kid who got this is just going to fill all the blank spaces with butt. That's just that's all Mad Libs ever devolves into. I mean, I had that when I was I had Mad Libs at least when I was 7 or 8, and that's what me and my friends would always do. It gets boring after 15 minutes. We toss it
Yeah.
away. We never see it. Excuse me. We never see it again.
Bailey was a WWE fan ever since she was a little girl, so she jumped at the adjective chance. At the first chance? At the... That's a weird place to do that.
In the
Adjective chance.
Adjective at the
Bailey had been a WWE fan ever since she was a little
noun. Yeah.
So girl.
So,
Or ever since she
So-
was
so-
ever since she was a little boy.
so she jumped at the
At
adjective.
the adjective chance to audition. At the first chance. At the second chance. At the...
But it doesn't give you the directions to say like a place, like a numerical
It's
place. It
describing.
just tells you just an adjective.
Yeah.
Which could be anything.
Yeah.
So like any adjective at least.
Yeah.
So the first of the first smelly chance.
Yeah. It
That-
doesn't make a lot of sense. The only thing I could think of that would be appropriate would be like first chance, so you say something else that doesn't make sense at all.
But the thing is, you have to go by like you go by the top first, and then you plug it in at the bottom.
Yeah, that's right. I haven't. Obviously, it's been a long time
Yeah, I
since
know.
I've done Mad Libs, but it's been like a decade.
Actually, smelly would be an adverb, not an adjective.
But
But
the first bloody chance. Anyway,
yeah, that's.
so that's interesting.
No, it's not. It really isn't. Mad Libs has the audacity to call itself the world's greatest word game.
Well, that's pretty lame then. So.
Yeah, but it is
Good lame. Gift.
good lame gift.
That's pretty. Yeah.
Yeah, like I wonder like just how much unsold merch is being stored in some Amazon warehouse.
Yeah.
And then like some marketing whiz at WWE.
I mean, it gives me ideas of better things that you could do with WWE, kind of like WWE Cards Against Humanity. I mean, you'd run out. Actually, no, you'd never run out of material, really. Not really.
Thank you, Attitude Era.
Yeah.
But
A severed hand birth by Mayung card.
yeah, served by May.
Yeah, you got everything.
All right.
A botched powerbomb by D'Lo Brown.
Sorry, they're
God. That's what,
sorry, their draws.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's actually get to this pay-per-view and really get down to the nitty-gritty guts of it. There was only like 5 matches on this entire
It's
card.
pretty short, and I would normally say sweet, but that's not the right adjective.
It was short. We'll
Yeah.
just keep it. It was a pretty short pay-per-view, and it felt long at points, especially with some of the matches towards
Yeah.
the end of the card, which we'll get to. But I think it's important that we note just how important Booker T is to the kickoff
Yes.
show. Because
and to the commentary system itself.
actually, I would disagree with that because when he's on commentary, he doesn't really have a chance to really let his Booker T-ness flourish. On the kickoff show, though, it's beautiful. It is a beautiful disaster. And nowhere is it more apparent than here, where I believe he has a legitimate problem with Sam Roberts.
How could you have a problem with that guy?
I mean,
He's just like this lovable Garfunkel of a person who says not so stupid things.
yeah, he's just basically a mark. There's no I think that's what it is. I think like Sam Roberts comes off as a mark, and he is like he's a fan. Like he talks about wrestling for a living outside of the WWE ecosystem, and he found his way into the ecosystem. So
I see. So when Booker T was like looking at him saying he's a guy who put in all the work, you know, and he sweat and bled and laced his boots, he's like, okay.
Yes, I think Booker T kind of takes a little bit of an exception to him. I really do, because the way he gets really intense with Sam is
stares right at him. He starts to really get into his personal space.
Mm-hmm.
And he was having the crazy eyes all night too.
Yeah,
more than usual.
From the beginning, when he did that slow little turnaround to the camera, when
it was like, oh, he's got the
the gift of gab in him right there.
He's
like as I coined it while we were watching it, it's like Booker T is a lineman, and every time there's like a break in the conversation, he's going right to that quarterback, and he's got to get that point in. He is
chomping at the bit to interrupt Sam.
Oh, or even Renee.
He said when that dog gets a bone, he will not fucking drop it. He just won't drop the damn bone. We're way far along in the conversation. We've moved on to new topics, but he's just waiting for that one topic, like Naomi or something, to come up. In this case, Naomi, I guess.
And Naomi, and speaking of that conversation they had with Naomi, Kevin Dunn does not like Sam Roberts about as much as Booker T does, because he will not keep that camera on Sam Roberts' face for longer than he has to.
Yeah.
So he'll cut to during that Naomi conversation with Naomi rather. It would hold on to Sam just long enough for it to, register with the audience that Sam's the one talking, and then just immediately cut to Naomi as a reaction shot, just her just kind of sitting there, just kind of nodding her head in agreement with what Sam is talking about. I mean, it's not like Sam Roberts is an ugly guy or anything. He's just not a photogenic guy. As you said, he just looks like Art Garfunkel.
A beautiful man.
I mean, a certain type of individual might.
He's like a Garfunkel with more hair. Yeah. So,
or at least a different.
Yeah.
And I feel that where Booker T really shined with me, as far as his ineptitude is concerned, is when he has to put over somebody over in the conversation, he always has to do it like he's puking it up. Like when he called Tamina to win the women's Money in the Bank, he just goes, Tamina!
There's a Tamina! Like he's saying it like her entrance. Tamina! I think that might have been what he was going for.
It might have been, but it sounded like somebody punched him in the gut while he said it.
Tamina! I guess what Booker goes on in Booker T's mind doesn't always come out the way he hopes it will, and I don't know if he ever can tell the difference, actually.
Yeah, it's like Booker is afraid that if he doesn't say the words that are in his mind, they'll explode.
That's pretty accurate.
So he has to get them out as fast as he can. So, which would explain some of the verbal gaffes that he had that night, including when you are the championship. When you are the championship. When you have literally been transmogrified into a belt in some kind of living Franz Kafka-esque nightmare, you are the top of the pile. Yes. Not when you are the champion, but when you are
the championship.
Cut to Julian Sands just molding him
into... let's just say when you are the championship, you don't want to be around Paige's waist.
Did you actually see that? Finally see that?
No, I didn't actually. Why would I?
I don't know, Gabe. Why would you? Oh, damn. Damn, double damn.
Damn!
And speaking of verbal jousting,
too easy.
Yeah, speaking of verbal jousting, when we actually get to the first match on the card, the an actually appropriately shit match for a kickoff match between the Hype Bros and
It's a shit kicker match.
yeah, between the Hype Bros and the Colognes. I noticed that despite everything, Tom Phillips is still on commentary, and weirdly enough, despite Vince's legendary stance on beards, he has a beard.
Maybe Vince just needs somebody to hate.
I guess so, but like,
if Vince ever asked you to grow a beard, you got problems.
Vince, it's been well documented that Vince thinks that beards are for men with weak chins. So, like, if it's part of your gimmick, he'll allow it. But if you're a part of, like, a commentary, if you're part of, like, his direct...
Yeah.
Like if you're a salary employee, like you are if you're a commentator, you have to shave.
What if you have a weak chin, though?
You gotta expose that weak chin.
Oh.
Yeah, like...
so when he says beards are for men with weak chins, he actually means they're for men with weak chins who are trying to hide them.
I guess it's the deception that he doesn't like.
Oh, I think he's kind of just like when a person's wearing a hat and a dog gets confused, they take the hat off, it's like a whole new person. Like Vince McMahon was scared by somebody, and it's like it's like I didn't know. He has a thing.
Well, it's very possible that it is a thing because I know that other famous people have had a distrust of people with beards. And they're like it's all It's a compulsion, I suppose.
Who are you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think what was it, Queen Victoria or Queen Queen Elizabeth had distrust in men with beards as well. So it's possibly a thing. But I love listening to Jim Cornette talk about his weird habits that he noticed while he was working with WWE about his grooming habits. Like he had this $2,000 razor that he would just constantly just like.
Yeah.
Keep his.
Oh, did he had the electric thing that like a electric. Like what was it, Bad Detective or something that Nicolas Cage was using?
Bad Lieutenant, you mean?
Sorry, Bad Lieutenant. Not Harvey Keitel, but Nicolas Cage has always kept that.
Port Authority.
Constantly.
Port of New Orleans or something.
Yeah,
like that.
just using it like until he's getting past the first layer of skin.
Yeah, it's within that same realm, and I'm thinking back on it, and you realize. Yeah, pretty much every single man who was on commentary never had a beard. Even like when...
I can't believe we were talking about this so long.
I know, right? Well, it'll be a while before we actually can get to part of this discussion worth talking about. Especially if the first match on the card is, like I said, the Colognes versus the Hype Bros.
You mean the not Shining Stars?
Mm-hmm. You are not letting that go, are you?
I'm not letting that go. Just like they are not the Shining Stars.
They are not the Shining Stars. Well, I don't know. It's that age-old argument. What's worse, no gimmick or bad gimmick?
Well, you see, they've moved on to a new gimmick, and I respect that.
What gimmick?
Which is why they are not the Shining Stars.
What are the Colognes? I mean, what is their gimmick other than they have a last name that's very silly to English-speaking audiences?
Their gimmick is that they're not the Shining Stars.
I guess that'll have to do. Yeah, I have no idea why Zack Ryder thinks that an Irish whip into a discus punch looks good. It just looks awkward. Like every time he's getting Irish whipped by Mojo, and he just kind of loses his momentum, so that way he can do a little twist before the discus forearm or a discus punch.
Well, if you can sell it full-fledged, full-on, hit that rope, bounce right into it.
I mean,
I guess what you're saying is he does it bad.
Oh yeah, I can't imagine it doing well because in order for it to go well, you have to be running at full speed. Like the momentum is really shifting.
In order to do it well, when you do that discus, you have to dive from it. You have to do it like spin corkscrew in midair, I'd think.
Oh yeah.
Because if you're not doing that, then you're running while you are turning around, which means you're stepping.
Yeah, that's where it's.
And you're not getting momentum if you're stepping. You're stopping the momentum to step.
Yeah,
you got to dive into it. AJ Styles would dive into it.
Mm-hmm. It's practically a corkscrew at that point.
Let me tell you, let me tell you something about AJ Styles. If he did a corkscrew, if he did a discus punch, he would dive into it. Yeah.
One could argue that he already does with a phenomenal forearm, but outside of those particular weirdness with that, the particular weirdness with that, and the nice little bit where Mojo Rawley just no-sold one of the Cologne's chops.
Yeah.
This match had nothing to it, and this was exactly the kind of the par for the course I expected of a pre-show match.
Yeah, and the hyperdrive I remember was not very good this time around.
Yeah, he got a little lax with that one. It
looks really good when he doesn't do it like a slight. Well, actually, that's kind of the thing. Is that they were smaller side, I guess. Smaller side of Mads, but which is kind of why it's weird that he didn't get so much air on it.
Yeah, like I think he did it at a weird angle, and that's why he wasn't able to get as much height.
But when he does, as much height,
Yeah.
But when he gets height on it, it looks great, even though it is basically just a free fall.
Yeah, with a little bit of a push at the end of it, which
yeah.
Just like if freaking Ultimate Warrior could get away with the elevator, I can, why can't he get away with the?
I mean, if your finisher is a free fall though, make sure it's a damn high fall.
Mm-hmm. Because at least with the elevator, even though it's just a free fall, he does have to get him all the way up, like that, and that takes even when the guy's helping you out, that still takes a lot of strength.
Yeah.
So that's where the impressiveness comes in, not so much about how hard it.
And he does often do it from just no momentum, doesn't he? Sometimes, or is it always momentum? I can't remember.
I can't remember. My memory fails me, but there's other points in this match that were just weird moments, like when when the Colognes started to work Zack Ryder's bad knee, and for some reason or another, one of the Colognes thought it was a good idea to try to give Zack Ryder's foot a DDT over and over again. Like
what he's doing is he's kind of like it's a leg. What is it called when you do that? When you not a leg lock, but when you drop onto it and hurt the joint. I can't even remember what those are called.
I couldn't begin to tell you either, but
leg breaker. I think that's what it is. A leg breaker, maybe.
You'd think so, but he has his ankle in the underhook, like you would for a DDT, and then he's just falling backward like you would with a DDT. So it's a DDT to the foot.
The thing is, you've seen people do that before. It is an established move.
It's an established move, but it's
but it's one that we don't really understand.
It's a goofy looking move, and it's the only way I can properly describe it is like a DDT to the foot.
You're supposed to be dropping it on the ankle to snap it, I think, but it just doesn't look that way because they have these reinforced wrestling boots that I guess kind of keep it from doing that.
Well, yeah, but the point of impact isn't on the the point of impact on the foot isn't on the ankle; it's on the sole. So weird. Yeah, it's.
I'll give you that's weird.
It is a weird looking move, and it's the only way I can describe it is a DDT to the foot.
Kind of like when you're doing the
slingshot.
Yeah,
exactly.
Which is, I guess, a double DDT to the feet.
Exactly, and finally, after a traditional back and forth,
vintage Orton to the feet.
No, Randy, don't.
His head's on the rope. He's like, no, don't do it.
Don't do it. Ow, my soles. But after a traditional back and forth, the match ends with, and albeit, what was it, like Rough Rider? No, it's
the Hype Rider.
The Hype Rider,
like a type rider.
The Hype Rider which is basically like an electric chair into a Rough Rider.
Yeah.
Which
it looks cool.
It looks good.
It almost looks like a Famouser. Yeah. Off of the electric chair, kind of.
Anyway. Like a famous. Well, yeah.
Just a little bit.
Just a wee bit. But what I wanted to pay special comment to was the Broski boot that wasn't so much a boot as it was just like a flying stomp. Like he misjudged where either one of the Colognes got a little too low.
I think one of the Colognes got too low. That's what it looked like.
Yeah, it got too low, so he just kind of had to lower his boot and turn it into like a running stomp.
You at that point when you're doing that, you either have to decide that you missed, or you have to just make lemonade.
Yeah, it's just like, all right, I'm just gonna go for like a running stomp.
And I'll give him this much. It did look stiff.
Yeah, it looked like it was gonna hurt. It looked like it hurt. So that's one thing. But on the other hand, it doesn't look good. It's the worst of both moves. It genuinely hurt the other guy, and it doesn't look good.
Yeah. Ugh. But that's a tough judgment call when you're right in the middle of the move.
Mm-hmm. But the first match of the...
That's why Sami Zayn, when he does his Helluva Kick, he has to calibrate it first for a while. He has to concentrate and get the targeting system up.
Before he engages foot power.
He knows that guy's where he wants him.
Mm-hmm. But the first match on the card proper began pretty strong with the first women's Money in the Bank ladder match. Between Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, Tamina, Carmella, and Natalya. So...
And I'll say that going into this, I really did think it was going to go the way it should have.
Mm-hmm.
I've actually gotten to the point where I am expecting good things from women's matches.
Which, that means...
Not necessarily getting, but expecting.
So, yeah. So, in a way, that's good because now they raise the bar of expectation.
Yeah, and I'll also say that it wasn't necessarily a bad way to go.
No,
It was effective?
It was effective, and I really think that, even with that kind of decision, let's save that discussion towards the end.
I'll hold on to that. Hold on to that.
We will hold on to that. Because even though this was an important match, it wasn't necessarily a very eventful match outside of the end, outside of the finish. Tamina going in was very much the underperformer, and everyone expected her. She's only in the match because they're just got every single woman on the roster into this match who wasn't already in a singles match later on in the night. So the fact that she was there was just kind of like, well, it'd be weird if she wasn't, so let's put her in there. And by God, she wrestled like she was the black sheep, as it were. Like that sloppy Samoan drop at the beginning. That
Samoan drop was...
Mm-hmm.
It's up there with the worst I've ever seen.
No, it was...
I can't recall any Samoan drop I've ever seen that was worse than that, right off the top of my head. Yeah. By any male or female superstar. So.
Yeah, and it's not like she was trying to do that to another big woman. It's not like she was trying to do that with Nia Jax.
Who was it she was doing it to?
I believe it was... I believe it was to Carmella, maybe?
I can't remember.
But the point
none of them were big enough.
Yeah, like the other...
She was clearly the largest.
Yeah, clearly. Like, maybe with Charlotte, it's understandable because she's like 5'10", and
I don't think it was Charlotte.
But
she basically let the person down kind of to the side when she did it, so it looked lame.
If she tried to cartwheel out of it, so it kind of turned into like not Rings of Saturn, but turned it into that. What was Perry Saturn's move? I forgot.
Oh, Death Valley Driver.
Yeah, like the Death Valley Driver. Then...
Yeah. If the botch turned it from what it normally is into another move, it would have been better than the Samoan drop.
Yeah, just like
because the Samoan drop is lame.
I can't defend it. I can't at the very well.
And I'll say it. Yes, the shell shock is lame because it's a Samoan drop.
It's
yeah.
Yeah, the fallaway slam is lame because it's just a Samoan drop.
Fallaway slam's better because you're starting here and then going to there.
Well, which
is a little more difficult to do, I think.
Well, that isn't to say that a Samoan drop doesn't end the exact same thing. You're getting the guy up on your shoulders and then falling backwards.
I mean, the Samoan drop is not like fundamentally lame in itself, but as a finisher, I think it's kind of lackluster because it's a fireman's carry and then you fall back.
Well, I can't remember the last time it was used as a finisher though, as a transition move. Yeah,
Tamina.
Except for Tamina.
Well, that is her finisher, right?
I haven't seen her wrestle long enough for me to get a good grasp on what her.
I could be wrong. I think it is.
I should hope so. I should really hope so. Like if her finishing move is a Samoan drop, then I will grant you the lameness of it. But as a transitional move, there are lamer, way lamer.
Oh no! Certainly as a transitional move, no.
Oh yeah,
they're much worse.
Mm-hmm. But
I mean, like you wouldn't have a scoop slam as your finisher.
No, you wouldn't. You certainly wouldn't. But one little nitpick I have here is that during the match, for one reason or another, I do not know, Natalya locked in a sharpshooter. Why would you do that? In a ladder match.
You're gonna give up.
You're gonna tap out, even though there is no...
And you promise me that you won't go after the belt when you're done? I'll only let you out of the sharpshooter if you promise.
Like, maybe she was trying to injure her back so she wouldn't go in, but...
I think it's a move that makes you hurt, and now you are disabled for a while.
Yeah, but you also leave yourself open. Like, I know what the reason why she did it was to leave herself open for an attack from Tamina. That's the only reason why she does it. And that's...
Yeah, submissions tend to be a very one-on-one kind of thing, because you leave yourself open to everything else while you're engaging the person for a long period of time.
Yeah. And while while Becky, was her babyface self and was able to light the crowd up as, which is good. That means the crowd is still on her side, even though there really hasn't been a reason to cheer for her in a while.
I will say, unlike Bayley, she does wear face very well.
Yeah, she wears face very well. It's it's hard not to look at her move in the ring and not want to hey man, she's fired up. I can get behind that, and Charlotte, doing her we still can't figure out what she technically did. It was like a cork. It wasn't really a corkscrew because there wasn't she didn't actually do the full 360 in the air.
It was like a it's like a corkscrew dive into a DDT, a double DDT.
It was like an inverted. It was almost like an inverted 450. You know what I mean?
I think that maybe it just doesn't have a name.
Entirely possible, but it was just basically a flying splash into two on the outside.
Way to go, Charlotte, pioneering new moves. God,
yeah, but
you are so awesome.
Finish aside, what really surprised me, whose performance really surprised me, is Carmella's. Carmella really upped her game, I guess, because
she has been.
She has, and say what you will about Ellsworth being this, being this guy who kind of grew beyond his britches because he had a weird face and the smarks attached themselves to it because he seemed so much the anti-WWE guy. Say what you will about that push, and say what you will about what he's been doing since after he's basically been turned into the male valet for Carmella. Say what you will about all of that. I think the two pair off very well.
Valet or valet?
Valet. They all call them. They call them valets, but they're valets. Valets park your car. Valets are your gentleman's gentlemen, so they'd be valets. But besides being the male valet for Carmella, they work well together. I like them as a.
No, they definitely work great together.
They work great. They work great together, and let's just talk about the finish. When Carmella is at the base of the ladder and can't gather herself up, and he realizes, wait a minute, can't I win this for my girl? And he just goes up the ladder, picks it off, and just hands it to her.
He just drops it down to her, and luckily she knows to catch it.
Yeah.
Knows to catch. That would have been bad.
So and then there's this whole there's this discussion already forming of how dare the first women's Money in the Bank ladder match be won by a man?
Oh, it's allergies. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's already and why would you want?
That's where I'm conflicted on this, because if I wasn't thinking about the fact that this is the first women's Money in the Bank ladder match, and how they're having to just scratch and tear their way ahead from the Divas, era, I wouldn't, have a problem with the way it finished. Or let's say if Ellsworth was just a female, valet, whatever the fuck it is. You wouldn't think another second about it.
No,
But it stands that he is a male, so it is going back to Santino winning the frickin' Battle Royal.
Yeah, Santina Morella.
Santina Morella. So it's we have a guy finishing this, historic women's match, first match.
Yeah. But on the other hand, this has gotten great heat for Carmella, who is a heel. So as far as I'm concerned, it's a dastardly move. It's a controversial move. And it's all controversial for the right reasons. Because don't you hate it when the heel wrestler who's valet wins them the match? Don't you always hate that?
And no better way to do it than have that valet be a male interrupting a first ever type of a women's match, where the match was very much based on, the hype for the match was certainly based on that.
And that's, as from a story angle perspective, depending on what they're going to do with it, that remains to be seen, but I think there is rich soil here for momentum going forward.
I think that despite doing that, tainting that match, it's going to create great bits, and they've already started having good, moments together. But I think it's going to have some great segments later on.
Exactly.
For them, I do look forward to seeing where they go with that. I mean, give Carmella that money in that briefcase and. There's just unlimited material.
Yeah, exactly. And even if they decided to not go with the angle of Ellsworth going up there fishing the briefcase and giving it to Carmella for her to win, I would think that Carmella deserved the briefcase regardless because of her performance. Like that Frankensteiner into the ladder, which was.
Oh yeah, and her switching from one side of the ladder to the other.
Oh yeah, that's
so swiftly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's
got the the light physique to be able to do neat stuff like that. She's really doing what Sasha Banks should be doing, in my opinion. She's heel. She's tacky. She's all about the money.
Mm-hmm. All about that.
Dollar bills, y'all. But that's really she's just exactly what I think Sasha should be.
The only thing that Carmella doesn't do that Sasha does is bump like a maniac.
But I think that she probably could.
Probably could, but I don't think she necessarily needs to.
Yeah, that doesn't do a lot of credit to Sasha saying it that way.
Well,
I give Sasha credit, but when you say someone could, but they don't need to, it's like, well that's saying that Sasha doesn't really. Need to.
Here's the thing. Like when Sasha does it, it's supposedly. It's a weird sort of balancing act when you're selling, because if you sell just right, you're making the other guy look like $1 million. But when you overdo it, you're just drawing attention to Ziggler. Well, no, not Ziggler. Ziggler. For when Ziggler oversells, it's funny. When Shawn Michaels oversells, it's just him showing off.
It is. Well, yeah.
It's just him showing off. So, and Sasha, I think, is definitely on the Shawn Michaels side of overselling than Ziggler's. Because when Ziggler could take a classic ass beating, he prides himself on taking a classic ass beating and literally throwing himself into whatever throw he's being thrown. Like he doesn't come out looking like $1 million when he does it, except for the trained eye. Like when he got tossed by Lord Tensai, I think, Lord Tensai or Albert. When he got tossed by Fat Albert. When he got tossed by tossed by Tensai and he cleared over the goddamn the announce table.
Okay. Yeah.
And that was a great moment, and that was give credit to Tensai, of course, but it was Ziggler who actually propelled himself all that way.
Yeah.
And that hurt, and that made Tensai look good. It was all for naught because nobody wanted to.
So it's not like the martyr complex kind of selling where oh my god.
No, it's not like
I'm bleeding all over and
it's not like Mick Foley where he takes takes a freaking pedigree into thumbtacks. It's nothing like that. Although I would think that
stake me, I'm a vampire.
I wouldn't necessarily think that Sasha Banks is pining for the days when she could take a pedigree into thumbtacks.
Yeah.
Although, part of me, like if WWE decided to say fuck it and just say let's have a women's hardcore match.
Hell yes. Hell yes.
Like
do it.
Let's make those pretty women not so pretty anymore. Knock some teeth out. Dislocate some retinas.
Do it.
Fall off the goddamn Titantron 30 feet in the air.
Do it. Well, okay, let's not do things that necessarily we're not having men do anymore because of moving forward
from the legit dangerous spots.
Legit dangerous spots. Like if we don't have men do it, then let's just not do it.
But I'm just saying, but there's just
but whatever men are doing, they should be doing.
So since there was a thumbtack spot in the Ambrose Asylum match,
yes, there should be a woman's thumbtack spot.
What was her name from Sanity? What's her name?
Nikki Cross would, I have no doubt, eat that up. Okay, she sells her character like she would.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how much in real life she would like to do that.
Like a Nikki Cross, and I wouldn't necessarily know who would volunteer to be laid into a bed of thumbtacks on the women's division.
Yeah,
I mean maybe Paige if she comes back. But I mean let's face it, we've already established that Paige is willing to do a lot on camera.
I have a feeling that when it comes to mutilation of the body, I think that might be a place where she'd stop. When it comes to, desecrating your appearance.
Alright, I think we're going to have to agree to disagree on that one.
Do you think she might?
I think that her wrestling... I think wrestling is her lifeblood. Her and her family Like that's just what they do.
Maybe she would do it then.
So yeah, I think like from the.
Keep in mind, she's got really, really fair skin.
Mm-hmm. Really?
And things show up a lot on that kind of skin.
Well, they do, but then again, if she was worried about her appearance all that much, she wouldn't be in wrestling. She'd be a valet.
You could say that about people, though. Like, there's a lot of people who won't take thumbtacks, but they still enjoy doing wrestling.
Yeah, they won't say thumbtack. Well, the whole point of it is that at some point or another, if the women's revolution continues as it's been, there's going to have to be. I wouldn't say it'd have to be, but it wouldn't necessarily be something you would poo-poo at.
Mm-hmm. No, hell no! I say do it. Anybody who wants to do it, regardless of whether, they're. I don't know how much the WWE is like, okay, you're going to be all about looks, and you could go ahead and fuck yourself up.
Like, it's not like you're like Luna from like the...
I mean, I think that anybody who wants to do it, as long as they're trained properly, should be allowed to do it. That's just,
Yeah. It's like, oh, just get Tamina to
And yes, I know it sounds weird to train for thumbtacks. I don't really know how you train for that.
Just fall into thumbtacks over and over and over again.
I'm going to punch you in the face. I want you to start training every day.
To getting this classic ass beat.
And it's not a pulled punch. It's just a straight punch to the face. So you can't really train for that. There's no way to flex your face to absorb blows. So yeah, but there's a certain point where something is just plain gnarly and you just take it.
The evening went on. It began with controversy, and it continued with controversy, although not bad controversy. I want to make it very clear. I do not come on the side of like, oh, that just wasted my time. No. I'm on the Booker's side.
No, it didn't. With that whole thing.
No, with the Ellsworth.
Oh, that didn't waste.
I did feel like it wasted their time, and I did feel like it cheapened it.
No,
I think it opened a lot of doors.
Not like another match.
No, yeah, which we'll get to.
Yeah.
And the same thing with this match, the Usos versus the New Day. I think this opens a lot of doors, and it continues on with this match. It continues on with this feud, rather. I mean, like, you may shrug at it. I mean, my only poo-poo on this match is that it was blatant.
Okay, so are we disagreeing again on this one?
I don't know I like this match quite a bit. I even like the finish.
That they just walk away?
Yeah, because they're heels. I mean...
Yeah, there's been a long history of heels doing things to get disqualified, obviously, including getting counted out. But I've never seen... I can't remember ever seeing during a title match on a pay-per-view. I've seen people take their belts and walk away, during Raw or SmackDown. I don't remember a pay-per-view where they just took their titles and left because it was a pay-per-view.
Well,
and that just seemed kind of cheap to the people who went to see it, or people who were paying for it, or people expecting some kind of climactic ending to it.
Well, people expect climactic endings in pay-per-views, but not in a pay-per-view like Money in the Bank. SummerSlam,
yeah, but you expect something more interesting than them deciding to leave. And at what point why doesn't anybody just do that in any match? What's to stop anybody from just deciding to leave?
Well, nothing.
And retain their title.
Well,
I mean, is there a number of times you can do it before the general manager comes out? And I'm sorry, I'll let you get to your point in a second. But is there a certain point that you have so many strikes, and they just decide this is their strike for 1 or 2 or 3, whatever?
Well, that's why I think this opens a lot of doors, because you want to turn into SmackDown. It's like, what the fuck, man? Why did you do this? I think this is a match that forces people who got invested in the pay-per-view to tune in on SmackDown to see what in the world, what are you going to do about this, Daniel Bryan? What are you going to do about this, Shane McMahon? You better be doing something about it. So there's that driving notion of like, okay, got to tune in on Tuesday to see what the hell is going on with the fucking tag team belts. And 2, it keeps the New Day hungry.
Okay.
So, I didn't necessarily need them to win the belts.
I still thought it was stupid.
Yeah, well, the problem with the tag team belts, especially, if you want to keep the belts on the heel champions, and you don't want to let the New Day, look weak in comparison. They can't be DQ'd because it's tag team. What are they going to do? Hoof them in the balls and then just walk away? That would be more of a letdown than me. all that does is just like it's a cheap shot. Doesn't really sting, and then
Sorry
you know,
about the cost.
yeah, it's fine. I mean, we're all sweating balls out here. So like getting hoofed in the coconuts is just as I would think even more anticlimactic. Like especially after the match that they had up till then, because it was a good match. I mean, like there were like Kofi sold his ass off in that match.
Oh yeah, and he did the SOS again. That was really cool.
Oh yeah,
I haven't seen him do that in I think a while.
Return like that suicide dive off the top, you know, over the top rope where where they dodged out of the way and he looks
like Free Willy flying over the bridge.
Oh yeah,
or whatever.
I don't know.
Ship or yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, Kofi. Or
well, yeah.
What was it, like a fist or something?
Yeah. Yeah, we talk about a movie that was made by one scene, right?
Yeah.
That's all anyone remembers from that goddamn movie. But outside of Kofi just selling his ass off and Big E having to having one particular moment where he caught somebody off the top rope, had to let him down because it was too much, but then still got him over.
Like, I mean, he did the best he could with what happened, but I mean, it's like. It's too bad because that looked like such a cool spot. Like it would have been so cool
if he
caught him and then followed through with it. That would have been spot of the match probably.
Spot of the night, maybe.
Possibly.
But then like this segued into that trust fall top rope where it looked like Kofi Kingston was being ascended into heaven on a
somebody gif it.
Please somebody gif it and put a shining light on him as he's. That was beautiful. So after a match like that, and then all of a sudden, the Usos realize they're outmatched, and they're like, "Fuck that, we're going home."
Sweat, rash.
You're going, yeah.
It's God's hot. Yeah.
So and then going home with the belts, that's fine.
Yeah.
That realizing they're outmatched and they're not even going to try to hoof them in the balls because they think like, what if it doesn't work? What if we just piss them off?
What if their balls are too strong?
Exactly. So they just pick up the belts and go home. So that, I think, is even more of an insult than trying to one last ditch effort to cheap shot them in the balls because, it's even more petulant. It's even more like, fucking. And now
Usos.
Fucking Usos is like, that's that good kind of heat. That's what the tag team division needs. You want to know one reason why JBL should be on commentary, even after what he did to Mauro Ranallo, is the fact that he could say the phrase "the greatest tag team division on the planet," referring to the SmackDown tag team division, and say it with a straight face.
Especially after what the newcomers turned out to be for the next match.
Not the next, but later on.
The one that is more important than the title shot.
Apparently. I mean, if you went by the booking of the card. But, I am, actually, speaking of JBL, I am surprised that Tom Phillips is still around. Because I would think JBL would be relentless with him. He'd kick down the bathroom stall door if he's trying to take a leak just to see if he sits down when he pees or not. I thought
hey, what are you doing? You making iced tea?
Just lemonade. But you're sitting down? It's like, no. New guys on the fucking commentary don't get to shit with the door closed. You have to shit in front of me. And he takes a stool, sits right in front of him, stares him right in the...
my paperwork right here.
And he stares him right in the eye and just says, "You got to shit, right? So shit." Shit, man. And you're making me really uncomfortable, JB. I said shit!
Now let's run your lines.
When you hear about all these hazing rituals and practical jokes and ribs that happen in the WWE, it never gets too weird unless it gets to JBL. JBL is always the guy who just seems to take it to this weird psychotic
elementary school kind of.
Not just that, he also turns into this weird psychotic, almost I am surprised that he was not kicked off earlier. Edge wrote in his biography that during one of his first times on the road of the WWE, he was in the shower and JBL just came up to him and just cupped his purse right there and looked him dead in the eye as he basically sexually assaulted him.
Wow.
And Edge.
Woo!
And Edge.
I think I remember that story now.
Yeah,
Though.
yeah. Like, and Edge
right.
just no sold it. It's like, that's the kind of shit JBL does. So, it would not.
Edge no sold it. No sold it, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. No sold.
Yeah, no sold it. Yeah, exactly. So
like no sold, no sold. It would properly be no sold.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I would think that JBL is all into like the borderline power plays and like and that kind of shit. So if we found out later in Mauro Ranallo's biography that we find out that JBL used to make him shit in front of him, like the door open,
it wouldn't be that much of a stretch.
Wouldn't be that much of a stretch if he had to eat his lunch out of a dog dish, and like he had to wear like a cone of shame. Like, he just had stitches in somewhere to keep himself from. It's like, don't you know you had surgery, boy? You gotta wear this cone so that way you don't bite your stitches. Leave him around on a leash and such. If I found that out, I would not be surprised if that were the case. That's Jables. That is Jables. And the fact that he doesn't, he continues to give Byron Saxton the business is why I can never hate JBL. Because he picks on the people I hate. He bullies the people I bully. He's my spirit bully.
He bullies the bullies. But who bullies the bullies?
Now, as far as, so we had 2 matches on the card.
Yeah. End
in unceremonious ways. Some might say anticlimaxes. But both definitely controversial. I think they ended for the better. Yeah. I think they opened a lot of doors. I think that it makes you want to tune in on what's going to happen on SmackDown. The next match on the card had the right ending, but it took us a while to get to that ending. If it weren't for another match later on the card, this would have been the worst match. And it's Naomi versus Lana for the SmackDown Women's Championship. There's almost nothing to say about this, other than Lana is not ready to go in the ring. She is not.
Maybe I should just not say anything.
Yeah. Probably not.
Oh, no, I can't not. I'm not a Lana fan. I am not a Lana fan.
Great mouthpiece, but I don't necessarily think Rusev needs a mouthpiece.
No, Rusev does not need a mouthpiece. Not that she's bad as one. She's fine as a mouthpiece. Having to sell an accent that's not naturally hers at all.
Like, she sells the Russian accent fine.
And they stuck with that, so okay, cool, I guess, yeah.
She lives the gimmick, and that's perfectly fine.
She feels like we're going backwards to frickin' early 2000s growing pains era shit.
Which...
I know we haven't gotten there with her yet, but the warning signs, you know? Like, she's going out there Jessica Rabbit style, like, her entrance is literally going like this. It's like, okay, maybe she's just gonna be that person, but can we just contain it to Lana, then? Let's not, have an outbreak.
If Lana's gimmick is that she is the prototypical diva back in the late 90s, early 2000s, if she was a riff on Sable, if she was a riff on not Kelly Kelly, but if she was a riff on Stacy Keibler, and she was a riff on all those late 90s, early 2000s Ruthless Aggression era. Cheesecake Divas. And she's a heel, I think that's fine.
That's fine because it's a gimmick.
It's a gimmick, and...
It didn't work before because that was everybody.
But if that was her gimmick now, and in the land where she is very much the minority, and we're supposed to hate it...
Kind of like Eva Marie.
Like, she's basically...
Except that everyone fucking loves Lana, though. That's the problem. And that's what scares me.
Well, everyone loves Lana, but that's almost in spite of her alignments. They love her because, well, she is a beautiful woman, and she does do her job well, but she just doesn't wrestle well.
I know, and that's just even more that points to, early 90s, 2000, I'm all eye candy, that's it.
Well, that's where I'm having trouble with this, because it was a mixture of, her inexperience with the ring, is very visible. A lot of clumsy spots and a lot of,
She does a lot of leg locks attempted leg locks to cover up that she doesn't have a repertoire.
And the shifting around, very obvious that what she's trying to do is like, okay, I gotta get into this space, I gotta get into this space. But on the, like, that would be smoothed over in the ring. Like, the problem with this match is that it was a title shot after no work building up to that. That was problem number one. And that was the biggest contributing factor as far as the negativity around this match is concerned. If it was just a no frills who gives a shit match on SmackDown, then I would think this would be pretty much par for the course for SmackDown, actually.
Yeah, no.
But the fact that it's a title...
The fact that this was a freaking title shot...
on Money in the Bank?
Money in the Bank, for her first match ever.
First televised match, at least.
Oh my god. You guys done fucked up. I thought there was going to be a punchline or something to this, because I mean, like,
well, there was. Well, there was.
Oh, I mean, in its own right, there was, but it wasn't. It wasn't like. It was in spite of the fact that she was inexperienced, though.
Yeah.
They weren't like, oh, let's have Lana come out and be inexperienced. I really think that she was supposed to. I mean, that finisher is, you know,
it's basically an exploder spine buster.
Yeah, I mean,
her finisher is exploder spine buster rather.
But it's a good move
for what it is, and for an amateur like hers,
it's not bad. So it felt like she was supposed to.
Yeah, but the things she was doing in the match that she did flawlessly also harkened back to the moves that those divas did, like pulling the hair and then slamming her head on the ground.
Yeah, she did a lot of that stuff.
So that's, you know, like, I see what they're trying to do.
Lots of I have long leg kicks, and she didn't do the cartwheel escape.
Mm-hmm.
But though honestly, she probably should have.
If she did stuff like that and continue, if she did it flawlessly, but still had that element of, like, you know, so this would be like a match you would see in 1999, for instance, on any given episode of Raw. Actually, you would not see that on Raw in 1999. They didn't really have a lot of Divas matches in 99, did they? They pretty much just kind of...
They mostly were managing and...
Yeah. Outside of, like...
Like,
outside of every once in a while when Chyna would be with Miss Kitty. And you would just kind of... Yeah. You remember that time when Chyna walked out in the ring and she had a shirt that, like a top that says Master on it, and Miss Kitty had, like, a slave on it?
Yeah, I think I do.
Oh, God. I think I hit puberty when I saw that.
You know, Miss Kitty was very much like my puberty diva.
Yeah, pretty much.
That she was.
Like, I was 9. Yeah, I would have been 9 around that time, so...
My first diva cheesecake match segment I ever saw.
Yeah.
Like, my Divas introduction thing. Well, this is pre-Divas, even. But it was Miss Kitty versus Terry Reynolds.
Oh.
In that arm wrestling contest.
Oh, damn.
Where they had to do stretches and stuff for it and everything.
And that's when you realize maybe girls aren't so grody after all.
That was about the moment.
Yeah, that was. I don't know. I was never that kind of kid. Like, I never thought girls had cooties or anything like that. I just kind of said that because all the other boys around me said that too, and I was like, "Are you kidding? Women are awesome. You got boobs. What are you talking about?" Yeah. But then again, I guess I was just thinking about the women in my life, like all the teachers I had crushes on and such. So it's
I think that's mostly every boy.
Yeah, like
pretty much.
Like the girls around their age were always like. You know, like, they're gross. They have braces, and they're trying to talk to us.
Well, I mean, we're going off topic.
Yeah, I know, but we're going off topic. But the point remains is that
before like when when you're below 4 years old, yes, you're not supposed to.
Yeah, when you're below,
you're just a little. You know, homunculus of a person.
You're an idea of a person.
Rather
than an actual person with thoughts and feelings. So go ahead and punch that 3-year-old. They're not a person yet.
Yeah, that's right. Anyway.
But I can see what they're trying to do with Lana. And growing pains aside, I'm not opposed to it. Because we're supposed to boo her. And Lana, as a heel, needs to be booed. But she's been too popular and too much on the fans' side for her to be booed, and I think this is actually a pretty good way to get her booed.
It's working for me, man.
So,
Like, I never booed her before.
but now
I was like, okay, she's a, good looking, maybe not quite my type kind of good looking, but she's good looking nonetheless. You can tell that.
Mm-hmm.
But, sure.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of the cheer she's getting is, oh, it's Lana, she's hot. And that's what kind of is like,
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't. Well, they're cheering for her, I think, mainly because of her association with Rusev.
Mm-hmm.
People love Rusev, even though I think the front office is kind of at odds with Rusev because they tried the anti-American angle with him, and it didn't really pan out because he was just too good at his job. Nobody wanted to boo him.
Yeah.
But he has heel face. He has a heel persona. He has a heel way of wrestling. So how do you get a guy who's too good at his job to be booed at without resorting to some cheap tricks?
Yeah.
Especially if he's being... So you just, get his hot wife to be his mouthpiece. Because every guy hates the guy with the hot girlfriend.
Yeah.
They're like, why does that guy have that girl? Boo! Boo! But she...
It's just, it pisses me off when people are chanting, "We want Lana," who is who's a person who never wrestled in WWE. When you've got all these competent competitors in the ring, it's like, can you just pay attention to the people who are actually fucking wrestling?
Which brings me to the point of the guy who held up that sign that says, "We want Rusev," during the Lana fight.
Like, can we please just focus on the people who are frickin', busting their asses for us?
Yeah, which actually...
You got Naomi in there. She's amazing. Mm-hmm. And you want somebody to come out there and force Naomi to have to carry her ass through an entire match. And it looks like shit. You can go to Lana's modeling page, I'm sure, and see plenty of that. I'm not saying you can't look hot while you're wrestling. God, look at all the guys who only wear little Speedos. Mm-hmm. Sure, of course, that's a part of the appeal of it.
I know your mom likes to look at Randy Orton.
Don't remind me, please. Please, don't remind me. Oh, now it's there. Anyway.
Randy Orton's going to be your new papa.
Okay. That's not. So, anyway. Obviously, you can be sexy while you're wrestling.
Obviously, you can.
But let's, also have it about the wrestling.
But I will say, the one part of this match that saved it for me was the tease of Carmella cashing in her Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
But then deciding against it. It's like, oh, so much beautiful heat on her. So much beautiful.
That was perfect. That was pitch perfect.
So that was beautiful heat.
The thing is, though, she did not need Ellsworth to do it for her to have that moment, though.
No.
She could have done that regardless.
No, I agree with you.
So all the great stuff you can have between Ellsworth and her and the briefcase, this is a three-way, is based around just her getting the briefcase in the first place. It's not about how she did it. Mm-hmm. It just kind of sucks. It was kind of tarnished.
It's kind of tarnished, but again, heel. So
I know.
Again, heel, and that's supposed to be a gigantic heat magnet. And
I will continue to be torn on this.
Yep, you can't say it's not effective. And I also like the fact that it also allows for Ellsworth to have his licks in.
Yeah,
because
Ellsworth is great.
Yeah, Ellsworth
really
is great. He gets his licks in, and it also kind of allows for more opportunity because Ellsworth got involved in the ladder match and tipped over the ladder, which caused Becky Lynch to spill. Yeah. Which means that men can interfere and win his matches without feeling like we have to hold back our.
That's a good point. In that light, I will say that is a nice way of looking at it. Yes.
Yeah, so without having to hold on to this outdated sense of chivalry.
Okay.
So I got to try to find that silver lining somewhere.
Okay, I like that silver lining. I'm going to hold on to it.
Mm-hmm. So outside of that one good, reminder of hey, I got this briefcase, even though I got it by dubious means.
Yeah.
That's.
And frickin' what Ellsworth was wearing. We're just trying to talk about that match.
Yeah.
Instead of frickin' Lana going out there and fumbling around in the ring.
Mm-hmm. It was amateur hour. Absolute amateur hour.
Oh, Naomi, good on you for having.
I will salvage the match by saying that she has a lot of upside. It's just.
Are we talking innuendos again, or
no? I'm not talking about innuendos. Okay. I'm talking about what she can actually do in the ring.
Okay.
I see a lot of upside to that. I see a lot of heat being attracted to her by just how she handles herself in the ring. If she does it convincingly,
I'll say she does it much better than Ava Marie.
Oh yeah.
Like she actually
Low
has,
bar.
she has actual persona. She has mic skill.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Lowest bar possible when you make that statement.
yeah, that's where I'm going.
And unfortunately, that's where the state of things are.
I mean, imagine if it was Vicky Guerrero who was doing this.
Oh.
She's got all of the
Ooh.
ability to make you hate her, but she's not Jessica Rabbit.
No, which actually made it better.
Exactly.
Because, you
so
know...
which is where I go back to, are we going back to 2000s again?
Yeah.
Everything, it's like all paths lead to the same place, no matter which way I try to look at this. It's just like frickin' Bioshock Infinite. All roads lead to frickin' Lana taking us backwards, so let's just move forwards.
And we will move forward to the return of Maria Kanellis.
All right.
Yeah, Maria Kanellis, which
if I recall correctly, she's the person who liked to grind her hips against the ropes. Or was that someone else? Because she looks like her. This is going to a part, kind of an era where I didn't watch wrestling.
Yeah, like this would have been the late 2000s, I believe, like mid to late 2000s. I think both of us just fell off the equator, as far as fell off the planet. So we're very, very much unfamiliar with her. But thing was, when she came out with her husband Mike, and he took her name, which JBL sold like you asked her. JBL sold like his world just shattered. Like he took her name.
We were like waiting for more. He took her name.
All of a sudden, everything that JBL knew to be true was immediately challenged.
And he's in the wrestling world.
And when in reality, the reason why he's known as Mike Kanellis is because he can't wrestle by his name Mike Bennett because TNA.
Yeah.
Yes, but
we didn't even know that was him.
Because I thought he was Kurt Hawkins.
I seriously thought it was fucking Kurt Hawkins.
It's like, is that Kurt Hawkins? No, wait a minute. He went to Raw. Why would he come back to SmackDown?
I mean, we both didn't even like ask each other because we both assumed it was Kurt Hawkins, and we were like, "Why is Kurt Hawkins here?"
And then it's like I'm not going crazy here. Like, I'm going to put two pictures right here of Kurt Hawkins and Mike Kanellis.
Yeah.
Or is this Kurt Hawkins and that's Mike Kanellis? I don't know.
You figure it out. But
it's like a difference between Omar Epps and Mike Singletary, you know?
Yeah. So I heard that Kurt Hawkins became a father like less than a week ago. Yeah. So I thought maybe this was like the person that he was married to or something and they had a kid. I don't know, but it turned out it wasn't that.
I don't know. Like you began that sentence kind of weirdly. It's like this was the person that he spawned with, and this is. So,
I don't know who he's actually. The thing is, I don't know who Kurt Hawkins is married to.
I don't necessarily think we have to know, but
I don't think it matters at this point. But I thought that it did matter because I thought that was Kurt Hawkins, and I was like, oh, so I saw on Twitter that he became a dad recently. Maybe that's what this is about. And it turned out, no, that wasn't.
No, it was just to announce that the Kanellises are going to be joining the SmackDown roster. Which, you know what, I'm fine. The women's division definitely needs some new blood, and I welcome her. And Mike
hopefully not Lana kind of new blood, but new blood. I'm going to get so much heat for
it's
this,
okay.
There's so many Lana lovers. There are so many Lana lovers.
Just own it, man. Just own
it. Just own it.
Just own it.
Yeah, it's already hot enough right now, though.
I know.
God, it's like 104 degrees. It was 104 degrees, or
yeah. Now it's just a calm and temperate 90.
That's nice.
But we move on to a surprisingly good match with Jinder Mahal and Randy Orton, and the hype package surrounding before this match was really good. And it does make me wonder if
hype package would be a good move for the Hype Bros. But anyway,
but like if that's their version of the small package roll,
like the hype package, they both do it, or they do it with each other, but there's no reason to. I don't know.
I think you.
It's like a cannonball. I always thought that. But
anyway, that's weird. But the hype package around this the match made me really think about how this booking decision really affected WWE in India. Like, is Jinder Mahal really a big deal in India? Like, did the move pay out for them? That's what I earnestly do wonder.
Yeah.
I mean, like, if the news broadcasts in India suggests that like like Jinder Mahal is now WWE's first, Indian,
That's big press, yeah.
Yeah, big press. Like he's the first Indian,
pro wrestler.
Pro wrestler in the.
Yeah, Great Khali.
Great Khali. Yeah, even though technically Great Khali won the World Heavyweight Championship, he was never WWE champion. But whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. We got rid of that belt. We got rid of that ugly ass piece of tin.
Yeah.
I don't know why Triple H loved that belt so much. It looks so ugly. Why did he carry it around so much? Why? Oh, why? People like to give the what was it, the Ruthless Aggression era WWE Heavyweight Title belt crap because of the one with the black globe. I liked it. I personally liked the black globe. Am I wrong? It's just like it looks better. It looks better than the World Heavyweight Champion, where you can't even read the agreement.
It doesn't have a spinner on it.
Yeah, like the one before the spinner.
Or there's. Yeah, as long as your belt's not interactive, I think that you're good. You're on the right path. Like if your belt is like a giant fidget cube, it's got little like freaking working like grinding and stuff, buttons and stuff, and you can just like
But back to the match itself. The high package around it.
Oh my god! I just realized that Cena's revolving belt was a spinner. It was I mean like the fidget spinner. It's a giant fidget spinner.
Oh well, yeah.
He had nervous habits.
Yeah, I guess that was it's a coping mechanism. I suppose.
Yeah, I'm sorry to sidetrack you with that. He was ahead of his time.
Man, you busted out of the gates with that one too. Like it was.
I don't.
It's like you saw through time itself.
I don't know why I found that so amusing. I guess I just find the whole spinner thing to be amusing on its own.
I don't blame you.
But anyway, I promise I won't sidetrack you again.
So.
Only when you least expect it, which is actually all the time.
But to see Jinder come in and really own this mantle of like, we're going to put this big push on you because we need to increase the market in India.
Yeah.
Now you can't fuck this up, man. We're placing $1 million bet on you, so that's a lot of pressure, especially for a guy who hadn't won a televised match in nearly 2 years.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden, he gets hot-shotted to the top, or as about as on top as you can get on SmackDown. And now you're left kind of wondering, how is he going to handle it? And to me, once they kind of cooled down on the whole anti-American rhetoric, and just had him just be like this opulent, I'm better than everyone because I'm the Maharaja, and I literally have my 2 manservants put out a gigantic carpet for me to walk on, so that way my feet don't have to touch the common floor. All right, it's like, okay, that's some natural heel heat that I can get behind. Not necessarily Randy Orton being the face. I don't think. The only thing I don't like about this is that Randy Orton isn't the good face to go against him. Randy Orton has never been a good face. He's a tweener. I wouldn't even necessarily call him a good heel either because.
I kind of wonder if Randy Orton was like, I really, really, really want to do this America First gimmick. Like, oh yeah, I'm my dad. Cowboy Orton can come out here and be there too.
Well, if he was gonna do that, then do that. But don't try to come out like the Apex Predator with your snake.
He should have a real American gimmick for this.
Yeah, but he doesn't. He should come out with Apex Predator. Like I'm RKO the Viper and. Yeah. You can't. They don't merge together at all. You're a tweener, Randall. You're a tweener, and that's where you're most comfortable with. We can cheer you because you're usually going against some asshole heel that we want to see get the crap kicked out.
RKO.
Yeah.
I remember back when I used to always imagine everybody who I hated getting RKO'd.
Exactly.
That was a good pastime.
It was a good pastime, and the RKO is still, holds up as one of the very last few great finishers that pops the crowd.
Yeah.
Because,
unfortunately, Randy can't RKO himself.
Yeah. So anyone with their fingers on the pulse can quickly gather that Randall, I always like calling him by his full name because I think it's like kind of like an event whenever you do. Randall Keith Orton. But Randy was never meant to win this fight. The way that they were trying to hype his family being there, his family and friends. Sergeant Slaughter was there. Freaking.
It was such a.
Yeah.
It was such a just obvious American people out here in the
well,
audience.
not. I don't want to say Ric Flair is necessarily.
Or Sheik Slaughter or whatever. Or Sheik,
Sergeant Slaughter. It was just Sergeant Slaughter. Iron Sheik wasn't there.
No. The old gimmick that he had.
Oh.
When he became. I can't remember the name of it.
But I remember when he used to partner with Colonel Mustafa. And,
yeah, that old thing.
When he became an Iraqi sympathizer.
Yes,
yeah.
that's. I couldn't remember what his name was when he did that.
But like he was still a Sergeant Slaughter. It was just that he was an Iraqi sympathizer, just because they needed a freaking heel for Hogan to face in WrestleMania 8 or 7. I think it was 8.
Okay.
I think it was 8. Yeah. But to see all of the family and friends. I think even like Larry Hennig was in there too.
It was such an obvious tell that he wasn't going to win.
Yeah.
I mean, the announcers did not help.
It would be such a disappointment. It would be so embarrassing.
It would be you must be so embarrassed. You lost in your own hometown.
Yeah. You just lost in front of your father in your hometown to a jobber. You must be so embarrassed.
I've never been a fan of the USA versus
he's a non-American.
He's from Punjab. Oh, he's not American. And the referee banishes the Singh brothers. He's like, "You're out of here." And I'm just like jokingly saying, "You're out of this country."
Yeah.
I mean, it's just you're the ones writing this shit. I hate it. I sometimes I can laugh at it, but mostly when it's in like retrospect to old stuff when they used to do this back in the day, and it's like, you guys were so cute.
Yeah,
but it's just right now it's really just like this is awkward.
It is awkward, but like if they're going to keep doing that,
it's a tried and true wrestling thing to do.
Yeah, it's a tried and true wrestling, but I think I would be more forgiving towards it if they just went so far in that direction that it becomes parody. Like they actually get like immigration officers out of the ring and then drag the Singh brothers out.
If you're turning it into a freaking comedy, do it. Yeah. I mean, okay, maybe I don't know. You guys figure out the touchy stuff. I'll just sit here and laugh.
Yeah, let's enjoy the wrestle crap for what it is. And I was expecting this match to be a borderline wrestle crap, but it wasn't even close to that. It was actually a pretty good match, all things considered.
They are kind of taking this whole thing, this whole feud to a very kind of. It feels like they're trying to keep it semi-realistic. You know.
Yeah, and I'm guessing that the reason why they're keeping with it is that they are getting a good response from India, and whether or not you think that a national hero for your countrymen should actually be a face rather than.
Well, it gives me an idea. They could just have him, be from India and wrestle.
Yeah.
And he can claim he's from India, and that he, this is for my family in India.
It's like, these are for my countrymen in Punjabi,
I mean, it's not as amusing, it's not as theatrical, or it's not a feud, for sure. But then they could write something else, anything else, and he can still get all that awesome press from India, because he is a hero for India. And then they don't have to do, I'm talking to my people in my language, not you American. Maybe it's just me. I get so tired of that.
It's not. I don't think it's. It's definitely not just you. It's like, I can't imagine like anyone who really is booing for that are actually legitimately like, how dare you not be from America?
I don't think they are. I hope so much that they aren't.
No, we're past the days of people actually buying into kayfabe. So,
but I mean, it almost feels sometimes like wish fulfillment.
You're kind of giving an excuse to boo them,
It's like, let's go down to the arena and watch them kill each other. It all dates back to some pretty nasty shit, if you really.
Well, that's what wrestling kind of taps into when you get down to it.
That's why we like wrestling. It's because it allows us to do that and get that out without people actually killing each other.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're probably getting hurt less than football players. Well, that's not necessarily true.
But like at least
They're not getting the. Oh, that's not true either. Shit, I'm all out. I got nothing here.
At least the intention and well, not even that either. We're kind of grasping for straws here at this point. But let's just talk about the match itself, which, as I said, I expected it to be all sorts of a barn fire, and it really wasn't. It wasn't the best match on the card. It wasn't even like the second best match on the card, but it was stronger than I thought it was going to be. And even though like the clumsy bit where the Singh brothers just kind of hassled Cowboy Bob Orton, at the very least, at least Randy got his licks in and was able to.
It's like, hey Randy, remember when you kicked someone's dad in the head?
Remember when you went over to John Cena's house and just beat up his dad?
Yeah, so that's what that feels like.
Yeah. Yeah, what goes around comes around, and given a long enough throw.
I mean, you really wanted to make, just stick in character and just be like, no, he deserved I didn't really like my dad anyway.
It's like,
you think you can hurt my dad? I RKO him myself.
But the match itself, it was actually in some ways even better than Backlash. I think they needed their own time to get used to how the other wrestles, and they could find a better rhythm between it, because this match, even though there were some weird points here and there, flowed better than Backlash did. Where Backlash felt like it didn't really get started up until Randy just started beating up the Singh brothers. Here there was a much better ebb and flow with punishment and.
The best part of that match, I felt, was him beating up the Singh brothers.
Oh yeah, because
it looked the best. Those Singh brothers. I can't remember their first names. Singh brother 1. I haven't gotten enough a chance to know.
Sing 1 and Sing 2.
Oh boy!
Oh, I got both cheeks into that swing. Boom!
Yeah. Good one. Sing 1, let's call him, gets dropped in, backdropped into it. It's like, let's try for a third time now. And it still looks like murder.
Backlash, say what you will about that last match. That little gif of Randy Orton looking back to see what happened and then just kind of going, ooh. And I think he even did one of these as he went. Like he was trying to shimmy away, like nonchalantly, even though the camera just caught that in plain fucking view. But outside of that spot, which was a good spot, like the nice table spot for the both of them, that was nice. But I still like the back and forth between Jinder and Randy. That was your phone, but I still like that.
That was my phone?
No, actually, I'm sorry, that was mine.
Yeah, mine's on my right.
Yeah, I guess that one's mine. But Jinder, the back and forth between Jinder and Randy was pretty good. It was better. It was better than.
I would not call it pretty good.
I would say it was better.
Yeah.
But the one thing the thing that bothers me though was that Jinder seemed to be wrestling like a face. Like he would get back into the ring to break up the count.
Yeah, he was.
And to reset the count rather, and it just feels like as like this gigantic heat magnet heel who has an entire posse with him to back him up. He doesn't necessarily use that all that often.
Oh my god.
What?
What if Jinder is the face and really Randy and all of us are the heels?
You know what you just did, man? You have just unzipped your fly, taken out your penis, got it fully erect, brushed it up against my ear, and fucked my mind. I mean, it happened within a blink of an eye.
I know.
If this actually happened on YouTube, goodbye AdSense. Yeah. But the match itself didn't it had much better flow, and it actually had a start, a middle, and a finish. Although I will say that when Randy was just beating up the Singh brothers, the referee just stopped caring whether or not they were outside of the ring or not, and just laid waste. Just completely laid waste. And while it was entertaining, I do kind of prickle at that. It's like, why do we even have rules anymore?
I know. I mean, why would you want to interrupt the count when you can just walk away?
Yeah, exactly. So, but Jinder, once again sneaks up from behind Randy and does another sneaky little Cobra Slam, and that's how he wins and retains.
The Colossus.
Yeah, and retains. Well, that's going to be interesante. That was muy interesante to see how this shapes up, especially with the outcome of the Money in the Bank ladder match. But that wasn't the match that succeeded right after the heavyweight title, after the heavyweight title match. Nope, there was another match that was just announced on the card between Breezango.
I thought we weren't even going to.
Yeah, well, we have to at least bring it up.
So
what would have been the worst match on the card was the Naomi versus Lana match, unfortunately. But Breezango, champions that they are, knew that match deserved better than that. So they decided that they were going to suck like no one has ever sucked before by lowering themselves to team up against the Ascension, who apparently was the guys who...
The mystery people who have been fucking with their shit.
And that's it. It's just a match between Breezango and the Ascension. This remains to be the only match we've ever done a tagging in for that I didn't even bother keeping notes for.
I actually paid attention to the match, and I don't remember who did the finisher. Okay, no, wait, I do. It was Fandango. I believe it was Fandango.
It was Fandango, yeah.
That's how little I gave a shit, though.
Yep. Yeah.
I wasn't even looking at the screen when the match was finished. I think I was looking at my phone or something.
Same with me. I just
Boy, that was bad. I mean, it wasn't botch-worthy, I guess, but it was just dull.
It was the worst thing that a match could be. You just couldn't give a shit about it, one way or the other.
And this is coming from, Breezango. There was no antics. Yeah. There was no master disguise bits. There was no mop. There was no squirt guns, distractions like with the Usos. Like, if the Usos was them just going up against a tag team in their quest to find the people who have been fucking with their shit, then why was this match so boring compared to that?
Because there was no lead up to it.
It was Ascension.
There was no lead up to it. It was just like, a little, Vice sketch. It was like a Miami Vice sketch leading up to like, hey, we trashed your office. Hey, you want to find out who we are? Come to the ring. And then the match just is, it's them against the Ascension.
It was bare bones tag team match.
The Ascension,
As soon as the Ascension's theme went off, he just left.
I just
on his coffee or something.
I just mentally checked myself out. I was just like,
mentally and physically.
Just checked out of it. I feel like checking out of this conversation right now. I'm going to get myself another drink. What about you? You want another drink?
Yeah, sure, thanks. And edit. Or just leave it.
No, I'm just going to leave it.
Or just leave it.
I'm going to leave it. I don't care. It's the Ascension.
So this is us talking about the Ascension. You could just pretend what it is.
I guarantee you, what you just saw for that brief 5 seconds of nothing on screen was about as interesting as
your imagination can come up with far better.
Yeah. Now,
and what else?
The only thing I have to say about this match is just an honest question.
What match?
Is the Ascension tag team you have ever seen?
No.
Really?
No.
Because I can't imagine a tag team I could care less about.
Nah. Nah, I'm pretty sure that's not the worst.
Really? Then who would you put below the Ascension?
Bushwhackers?
Well, I hate the Bushwhackers. I am annoyed by the Bushwhackers. But in that same vein, it's wrestle crap.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's genuine.
Oh, so we're talking about real pro wrestlers. Okay.
I mean, like,
oh boy.
I mean, if I feel like the mood of getting pissed off, I can watch a Bushwhackers match and then like feel righteously pissed off.
I know that they're.
But as we always said, the worst thing you can be in wrestling is boring. If you can't care about something, you can't care about something. And trying to care about the Ascension is physically impossible.
Even though they kind of, have a Legion of Doom kind of aesthetic.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Like, the Ascension are... They're a tag team that I wish I could care about.
But?
Because the gimmick seems like it could be really good. But...
You just can't.
It just... doesn't work. Somehow it doesn't... They just... kind of dull.
They're just there.
Yeah.
You just can't... like, I got on the vaudevillain side because, Simon Gotch tweeted me one day saying that he basically liked my...
Hey, at least you can admit it.
Yeah. Like, I never knew about Simon Gotch before he tweeted me. I mean, this was before I jumped back onto wrestling. It's like, oh, he's in NXT. Okay. But it's like, oh, it's a W... Oh, okay.
And then I was like, oh, NXT, I should check that out. So thanks Simon Gotch for, indirectly.
Yeah, indirectly. So, yeah, I don't know if you were watching this, Simon Gotch, but wherever you are, if you're back on the indies or if you have some kind of endeavor elsewhere, good luck. But
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but like I was on his side because he was on my side, and favor for a favor, right? And even though he was wrestling heel, you gotta, even though you're supposed to boo the heel, sometimes you just want to pull for him too. Yeah, like, a good heel can do that to you.
Well, of course.
Sometimes the best faces were once heels.
Most of the people I like are heels.
Yeah, exactly.
People I cheer for, heels.
Heels. Or at least tweeners with heelish tendencies. But, if I went, like...
I'm a Baron Corbin fan.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing tween about that guy.
If I went by, like, if Simon Gotch never heard Thing 1 about me, and just watched, and I was... watching the vaudevillains, not knowing who Simon Gotch was, or who Aiden English was, I'd still be on their side, even if WWE wasn't necessarily, placing their house money on them, because I like the idea of, like, old-timey strongmen trying to wrestle in today's modern era.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily make for compelling wrestling matches if you're trying to keep things as purebred and simple. Not like the Revival have tapped into that nostalgic route as far as that kind of wrestling is concerned. No flips, just fists.
Yeah.
That kind of wrestling. But seeing, like these inventive holds and seeing like, circus strongman antics, I can get behind that. But the Ascension have nothing.
Nothing!
Just...
What have you done?
Nothing.
Nothing!
I mean, it feels reactionary when I call the Ascension the worst tag team I have ever seen in my life. But I can't think of a team that got me, that I could not care less about. Just could not care less about. Can you think of one?
Shining Stars.
You put Shining Stars. You know what? The Colognes at least have a pretty brutal finishing move.
I'll admit their finishing move is pretty good. This isn't like a double into a backstabber or something.
Yeah, it was like a backstab. It was like a powerbomb.
Powerbomb into a backstab. That's pretty freaking brutal.
That's a brutal finishing move. I can give kudos to that, but I can't even remember what the Ascension's finishing move is, or even if
I can admit I saw some Ascension in NXT. They did the Fall of Man. I'm a little ashamed, but I know it.
But the fact that you're ashamed to even admit it must.
Well, actually, it's not that bad of a finisher, if we're being honest. It's basically a leg sweep into a. Oh fuck.
Well, you can't even remember it, can you? It's been that long.
Oh no.
You can't even remember.
That is.
You can't even remember their finisher. I think
it's a leg sweep, but like a neck breaker.
So, okay.
Or is it a cross block? It's something like that. It's fast.
The
It doesn't look terrible.
it doesn't look terrible, but the fact that
It looks good.
but the fact that you have to is it like this or is it like this really speaks to just how.
Well, to be fair, they haven't been relevant in a long time.
So all right, maybe they haven't been able to bust it out every once in a while because that would mean they would win, which they're not exactly on the hottest streak around. But the fact that you can't I saw the Cologne's finishing move once, but it stuck with me.
Yeah,
I can't imagine.
The Fall of Man is not. It's not great.
Yeah.
It's not a bad move, but it's not the best as far as team finishing move.
And you're
finishing.
And you know what? At least the Shining Stars gimmick of trying to sell real estate in Puerto Rico, at the very least, that is.
Okay.
It was so lame.
It was so lame that whenever you had to go to the lamest thing in wrestling, you could say, without a doubt, you just go right to Shining Stars.
Like real estate salesman. Timeshare, right?
And now that they've lost that, they're kind of even worse off. Because at least they had something prominent about them that everybody could go to. Yeah. Now it's just you're the Colognes. And you don't sell real estate, but you used to. What kind of a gimmick is that? You don't even do it anymore. So what do? You're just wrestlers, I guess.
Well, I guess the Colognes are trying to make up for lost time and trying to get to the Ascension's level of just terrible wrestler tag team.
They're trying to ascend?
They're trying to descend to Ascension's...
Descend to Ascension's level. In order to ascend, somebody else must descend.
It's like a scales of justice.
It's like a wheelbarrow.
It's like a scales of justice.
Or, sorry, seesaw.
Now, I don't think we definitively answer that question, but I think it's a question that will never truly be answered because everyone will have... I'm pretty sure somebody in the comments will bring up some tag team that the both of us never thought of as being the worst. But that was not how the night was going to end, thankfully. We still had the main event, the Money in the Bank ladder match, between Baron Corbin, Shinsuke Nakamura, AJ Styles, Dolph Ziggler, Kevin Owens, and Sami Zayn. And
so basically, it's like, Christmas, and Ziggler's invited.
It's like 5 wrestlers and Ziggler in a ladder match. So pretty much every single internet smark's favorite wrestler and Baron Corbin.
Okay, so I'll be... Yeah, that's fair for everybody else.
I mean, Ziggler still has a contingent of internet fans because they appreciate what he does. He takes a classic ass beating, and he knows how to put the other guy over. It's just
I'm fully aware that Corbin's at odds with everyone, and that's part of why I like him. I always like... I have that kind of... I guess it's kind of a smarky thing in itself, that I like people who other people hate.
Well, I want to say
it's
that's
kind of hipster, I guess.
That's a hipster.
That's pretty hipster. God,
he dresses like a hipster. He acts like a...
Oh no, I'm the worst kind of hipster. I'm a wrestling hipster.
Yep.
Oh, shit.
With your luck, he'll snap and kill his family and himself too.
Damn.
I'm just saying, you don't have the greatest track record with where you put your horses, which cart you attach your favorite wrestler to.
That's not even, hipsters. That's just bad. It's just bad form.
I know.
It's fine.
But I like Baron Corbin. I like him, but I think what really keeps me from being on Baron Corbin's bandwagon is that he's so boring on the mic. Mm-hmm. Boring Corbin. One guy in the audience
was sign is, that's very creative. Boring Corbin.
But that's what he is on the mic. He kind of talks like this. We don't need more little punks.
And
here.
I'll admit, he's never had a botch though.
Because he had 3 moves. Hard to botch 3 moves.
Well, I mean, that too, but verbally.
Well,
he has very, very paced, precise speech pattern that never changes, ever. But he also doesn't ever mess up his lines. It's kind of like you expect him to not be able to get his lines right, but he never messes them up somehow. And you're kind of surprised every single time.
Yeah, but
like, wow, how did you not? How did you get that all out?
Well, how did you get all of that out when you're speaking at about 5 words a minute, and you have a very flat, uneven delivery? And not only is he like he has Edge syndrome, in that the only reason why he's pushed as hard as he is because he's tall, not necessarily because he's built. Because Edge was not a ripped guy. He was not a strong guy.
Baron Corbin's quite a bit more filled than Edge.
He has a smirk on his
taller.
He's got a smirk on his gut. He has this weird little indentation in his gut that looks like a bad appendectomy scar. I have no idea what that is. Why does he have that there? What's wrong with his gut? Why does it look like...
There's nothing wrong with his gut. He just has like a slight, layer of fat over his muscle.
It's a slight layer of fat and it's uneven.
He doesn't have a chiseled core. But he also doesn't have any pot belly or anything like that.
He doesn't have a pot belly. I mean...
By no means does he have, spare tire or anything like that. He doesn't have a chiseled core. And that's fine, I guess.
And that's fine. I mean, like, Kevin Owens is, isn't like an Adonis.
Sami Zayn,
Yeah, but like, at the very least, Kevin Owens knows well enough not to wrestle shirtless. Like, he knows he keeps his shit covered. And Sami Zayn, even though he isn't ripped, has enough chest hair that any kind of thing just kind of like it gets lost within the rug.
Yeah.
But with Baron Corbin, it's like he's wearing his physical imperfections as a badge of honor, and that's admirable.
He doesn't really have any imperfections.
His hair looks like it's...
Not that. I'm talking about his body. He doesn't have...
His hair is part of his body.
We're talking about his core.
I'm talking about, like, everything else.
He's got the,
he's got the riffraff
He's got the riffraff hairline, but...
He's got riffraff hairline and thinning hair.
Like, the guy is not supposed to be booked as the pretty boy.
He's not being booked as the pretty boy.
Obviously. He's the Kurgan.
Clancy Brown is way more handsome than Clancy...
Well, okay, yes. Handsome Clancy.
Handsome Clancy is what I like to call it.
Clancy Brown is actually, despite the character, a rather handsome guy.
And he has, striking eyes. Like, all right, Clancy Brown has striking blue eyes. Baron Corbin has these beady little rat's eyes. He does. He's got, like, these beady little rat's eyes that are, like, coal black, thinning hair that he looks like... He
is extreme. He is very distinguished.
He's distinctive. He's not distinguished.
He's very,
He wears a wolf shirt. He wears a wolf shirt that, like, fucking... fat guys at conventions who wear Teva sandals with socks and a fedora wears wolf shirts. And he wears that. He's like an amalgamation of all the bad fucking things you can put on a physical, like on a male wrestler. He's got a horrible hairline, stringy hair, beady black eyes. He's got a doughy body. He's got lanky arms.
God dang, when you put it like that.
It's like, I don't like looking at him. And it's good that he's a heel, because he doesn't talk very well. He's not very, like, he doesn't talk very well. He doesn't, like, have anything really interesting to say. His personality bores me. He looks like a goof. He dresses like a goof. It's like, it's just like, I legit hate this guy. I do. I don't like looking at him. I don't like seeing him on my TV. And to see him, spoilers, win the fucking Money in the Bank and him rubbing it in my fucking face.
It's a great moment.
It's just a fucking, like, you cut me open, break out some lemon wedges, drizzle it right into the fresh wound.
This guy was like, oh, Corbin's coming out last. There's no way he's going to win. And then... First off, he's like, Corbin's not going to come out last. Shinsuke's going to come out last because the best guy comes out last. Corbin comes out last.
And then,
called it. And
beats up Nakamura.
immediately then he's like, But, you know, well, I mean, then you went back and you're like, okay, well, the last guy is the one who's not going to win. And then he doesn't actually come out at all to any entrance. He just comes out and beats up Shinsuke for his entrance. So you're like, okay, you backtrack again. You're like, well, he didn't have any entrance at all. So that's even worse. And you're like, so there's no way he's going to win. There's no way he's going to win. You have to, you're the one who gets the punishment. You have to clap throughout the entire credits of the next movie we see.
Why Baron Corbin? I'm not going to take anything away from him as a wrestler. I mean, he knows how to do a sidewalk slam. His end of days is a nice finishing move. And he has some good ring awareness. And he can move around the ring better than any guy who's 6'8" and should be able to do. He does it, and
he throws tantrums really good.
He throws tantrums really good, but he is...
When he throws a tantrum, you know, like... You really believe it. You don't want to be the guy who's at the announcer table.
He's like, I know, like, I'm not saying there isn't an upside to him. There's quite a few upsides to him, but he has that perfect combination of physical traits and verbal traits that just get under my skin, which is good for him for a heel, as an out and out heel. But the fact that I think that really gets under my nerves about him is the fact that he tries to sell himself as this cool guy. He goes, I'm on my own. I'm a lone wolf.
He could do without the wolf shirt.
The fucking lone wolf mentality. How is that not any different from, like, the big dog Roman Reigns? There isn't any.
Just realizing that's going to happen at a certain point.
Yeah.
The lone wolf versus the big dog. Oh, joy, right?
I mean,
I like Baron Corbin. I don't want to have to see two grown men talk about who's the bigger dog. In the yard.
That is... Oh. I think I just made myself sad with that comparison. I mean, when you really break it down, what is Baron Corbin but the Negaverse version of Roman Reigns? I mean,
I did say during the last match that he basically is what Roman Reigns would be as, you know, ideally as a heel.
Probably.
Just not handsome.
Yeah. I mean, if it wasn't for, like... Or if Roman Reigns wasn't as handsome as he was, he would never be in the position that he is in now. That's just... That's just a plain old fact.
Hey. Says a lot for Corbin, right?
Yeah, it says a lot for Corbin. And I remember, like, I know this is kind of off track here, but I need to make, but I need to speak out on this. Like,
I think you had a great moment just
just
there a while ago.
But
if you got another one in you,
I got there was a Stone Cold's podcast he had on Triple H, and he brings up Roman Reigns, and he says to him, like, what do you say to the guys that you just gave it to Roman Reigns, you just let him have this top spot, and he's like, and Triple H just says, well, like, I've never seen anyone work as hard as Roman Reigns who works hard. And it's like, yeah, but, like, everyone works hard. I mean, yeah, everyone works hard, but, like, he earned where he got. He earned where he got. And to which I would say, bullshit. Last I checked, wrestling is a shoot. Wrestling's a work, rather. Anyone who's the top spot is given it. Nobody earns the top spot. You are given the top spot. That's how wrestling works.
Yeah.
If it was a meritocracy, as you admitted, then wrestling would be a shoot, but it's not. Mm-hmm. You gave the top spot to Roman because you believed that he had the marketability to be the top guy. He had the face, he had the looks, he had the demeanor, he had the selling prospects. These are all things that you can't necessarily work on. You might get plastic surgery to improve your looks, but that has nothing to do with your work ethic. Yeah, Roman Reigns might work a lot. Yeah, he spent a lot of time away from his family. But guess what?
How hard eye contacts are to put in, Ben?
but I know. Do you know
how much they start to hurt after a while?
Yeah.
They get dry?
Yeah,
it feels like there's something stuck in your eye. Imagine trying to wrestle with that.
Oh, God,
it's like the whole time you're wrestling, you're thinking, God, do I have something in my eye, or is it just my contacts drying out? And do I need to go get hit against the turnbuckle so I can get my eyedropper out and, well, no one's looking, do my thing with my eyes to water them? And you have to remember to keep blinking while you're wrestling, because if you don't, they dry out. So if you ever see him going, it's not because he's trying to signal the other wrestler for a spot. It's just the eye contact.
It's just either that or he has a bad case of Tourette's. But I just wish they would, if they're going to try to do this damage control on these shoot podcasts and these interviews, and say like, no, Roman Reigns, deserves it because he works hard. He worked harder than everyone else. Saying like, well, if working harder than anyone else it determines what your position on the card is, then there would be no top spot on the card. Everyone would be a main eventer.
Yeah.
Because nobody gets anywhere in the business without working hard.
So when he says that he earned it, he said that he means he gave it to him because he felt that he earned it, not that he earned the spot by actually winning a match. So yeah, I see your point.
Yeah, it's like the point is like
it's like that's your opinion that he earned it.
He's like, it's your opinion that he earned it, but I guarantee you, if Roman Reigns didn't look the way he did, you wouldn't be giving him the top spot because that doesn't make good business decisions. And wrestling, especially WWE, is a business.
Which is why kind of like it's great to see Baron Corbin where he is with the fact that I mean the truth is he's not that bad looking aside from his like shit hairline thing going on and
the fact that he looks like he's about 5 months dead.
You have a little bit more.
He looks like a drawing of Hercules, one of the Furies from Hercules. Okay, one of the guys, like one of the witches that has to share an eye.
Those weren't the Furies; those were the Fates.
The Fates. He looks like one of the Fates from Hercules. All right.
He cuts the string and.
What's wrong with these scissors?
And Roman really would be the asshole, who goes in there and is like, "Oh, we want our eye back. Go find it."
Go back. I don't want to turn this entire discussion about the merits of Baron Corbin. I will fully admit that Baron Corbin has a lot of upside to him, as I said. And I like seeing him wrestle. I just don't like seeing him talk. And I just don't want to see him just kind of mince at like...
I don't like him talking either, I'll be honest. I mean, he's good at getting the... That's almost the problem, is he's a little too rhythmic in his speech. It's not natural.
Yeah, it's
nobody talks like that, but then again, no one talks like Neville.
No, but
but it's not even like a caricature. It's just
like it's how you sell. It's like it's being entertaining. It's finding what gets a person involved with what you're trying to say, and it's very hard to get a person to get involved with what you're trying to say if you talk like this.
Every sentence. Beat.
Like you're Christopher Walken with a cold.
It's the thing is, Christopher Walken's sporadic. But he's so
but that emphasis
rhythmic with his speech.
With that emphasis on the cadence, that's just that does him in every single time.
It's like it really is very much like the first acting class kind of reciting lines. Yeah, I'll give you that. It's fair point. He needs a mouthpiece. Let's just call it. He needs a mouthpiece.
But if he has a mouthpiece, he can't really call himself the lone wolf now, can he?
Fuck. That's the problem.
So
yeah.
I don't know. I'm not necessarily sure what SmackDown and WWE in general sees in Baron Corbin outside of his ability in the ring. Why they decide to have these goddamn renegade video promos of him just tooling around a motorcycle, talking about how much he doesn't care.
Those are pretty lame.
It's like fucking. You're betting house money on this guy? What the?
I wouldn't take it.
But I don't want to say like Baron Corbin basically hogged the match, but because he didn't, everyone had a good showing here. Even at the beginning when Nakamura basically got knocked out of the match early because, NJPW isn't necessarily famous for their ladder matches.
Yeah.
So they gave him like an easy out card by getting knocked out by Baron Corbin, and he gets heat on him. But of course Nakamura manages to have his nice 25 minutes of resting, get back into the match, and have some good spots by giving everyone a Shinkasa and having a nice fight with Kinshasa. I always Shinkasa, Kinshasa.
It's okay.
I know.
It's okay. You didn't watch him in NXT like I did.
Yeah, I wasn't able to get him to. I wasn't able to do that.
So it's hammered in for me. So.
Thank you. But yeah, but he had his moments too. Like even though he didn't have as many moments as everyone else did, even like Ziggler got his licks in, especially with that beautiful sunset flip he took from Sami Zayn over the top of the ladder. Oh,
excuse me.
Yeah. But yeah, like that was a beautiful, beautiful, dangerous goddamn spot.
Very.
And you got to give props to both of them. Props to both, props to Ziggler for taking it. Props to Sami for doing it and doing it as safely as he could.
Yeah.
And of course Kevin Owens with that beautiful, taking that goddamn AA over the top and onto the ladder.
Yeah.
And AJ for taking that chokeslam onto that ladder again.
Yeah.
In fact, if I had to, like unfortunately, Baron Corbin didn't really take a huge bump. Not like
that's true.
Baron was the only one who didn't get like that one, that one signature bump that took him out of the, took him out. So, and I guess that was the only kind of weak link as far as the match is concerned. But everyone else had this great strong showing and great spots, and most importantly, they weren't terribly belabored spots, like a lot of these matches can be, like like when you put in a ladder, in the corner, you're thinking, why would you do that? And unless you're immediately going to do something, you're not just setting up a spot for later in the match. Like at the very least, when back in the women's match, when they set the ladder in the corner, it immediately led to a slingshot right up with your face, smashing into the ladder. It's like, okay, that's why you set it up there. All right, that looks painful, clean as a whistle. Don't set something up and then don't do something with it for 15 minutes. And then, Chekhov's ladder, Chekhov's table, as it were. Immediate gratification. That's what I want. Immediate gratification.
Yeah.
But from those two, from spot to spot to spot to spot, I would say this was probably the best. God, what I lost the term now. Like main event. Mm-hmm. The best main event we've gotten on a pay-per-view so far this year. Even the Fatal 5-Way was all kinds of fun and all kinds of and the right person won at the end of the day. As fun as that was, this was so much better.
And I very much enjoyed the outcome of Baron Corbin winning. The lone, he was the underwolf in this fight, I guess. Yeah.
The underwolf. Oh god. And even the little spots, like Ziggler doing the zigzag off the ladder, or when AJ Styles flew over the top rope and delivered a flying forearm, phenomenal forearm to, almost catching himself in mid-flight against Sami Zayn. Just feels like, man, this was, there was very few matches I've seen this year that I want to see again. The Tyler Bates and Pete Dunne.
Was it Pete Dunne, I think?
Yeah, Pete Dunne match on NXT TakeOver.
Or was it Kevin Dunne?
No, not Kevin Dunne.
Why am I thinking that's someone else?
Yeah, Kevin
Dunne.
Yeah, Kevin Dunne is the director.
That's right. Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah, Pete Dunne is the. Pete Dunne is definitely the psychotic.
The bruiserweight.
The bruiserweight. Yeah. Him and his match with Tyler Bate, that was another corker and definitely a match that I can go back to and watch. And so is this ladder match. And unfortunately, I think by this time last year, there was maybe 3 or 4 matches I could go back and watch. And there's only been 2 so far this year, but that's still 2, all-time classics as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, the Pete Dunne and Kev Tyler Bates is the best I've seen all year. Mm-hmm. For sure.
But again, the best moment...
And I watch all the NXT stuff.
Yeah.
And everything, so...
So they NXT, despite being what it is, still knows that you save your best matches for your pay-per-views.
Yeah.
So, but to see, but again, the highlight of the entire ladder match, spot fest as it were, was just the simple fact of having Nakamura and AJ square off against each other for that little mini feud that I'm thinking we're going to be building towards SummerSlam.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure how you build it without turning one of them outright heel. Because WWE has no such thing as nuance, and there's no way they're going to turn Nakamura heel, He's
certainly not for a long time, at least.
So I'm thinking that AJ is going to still be continuing to be a tweener and find some reason to just call out Nakamura.
When they need him to be awesome over here, he'll do it over there. When you do it over there, wherever you need him.
Exactly. He's a man of all seasons.
Yep.
When it comes to
he's the Renaissance wrestler.
I mean, like, say what you will about wanting someone like Sami Zayn or Kevin Owens. I knew Kevin Owens wasn't going to win because there was no way that he was going to be both U.S. champion and Money in the Bank, Mr. Money in the Bank, because that just feels like, how do you exactly book a double champion?
Yeah.
It just feels like you're putting all your eggs in one basket. Not to mention, I don't necessarily feel that Kevin Owens versus Jinder Mahal is going to be all that intriguing. Then again, if there really was a person who I would think would have an intriguing match with Jinder, or could be the scavenger, as it were, it is Baron Corbin.
I want to see Baron Corbin become a very, Brock Light kind of guy.
Brock Light?
Yeah, like, not quite so much a unstoppable force like Brock Lesnar is, but a much more opportunistic kind of monster.
Like Edge?
See, the thing is, Edge was this beautiful guy, though. He's a little bit taller, a little bit more filled out, definitely a little uglier.
Not a little.
So, I can really see him being like this interesting, chaotic factor.
So, I want to agree with you. I do, but I keep
part of what intrigues. I'm sorry. Part of what intrigues me about him is that I don't know where he's going to go. But he has so many opportunities where he could go.
But I'm with you on that point. But then I remember all the things he has done, like interfered with the cruiserweight match to keep cruiserweights off of SmackDown for no other reason other than to continue his lame duck rivalry with Kalisto. You don't remember that? He interfered in that Kalisto versus I forgot who was the cruiserweight champion at the time. He interfered in a pretty good match just to keep the cruiserweights off of SmackDown, because in his words, we don't need more little pests around here.
That's not his fault. That's the booking.
Well, who do you think decides what he does next?
The booking. I'm not saying that they're going to keep him doing that. They had to. Look, when you're a big guy, and he is, you have to get pushed somehow. Everybody has some shitty stuff in their beginnings. It's like you can't blame him, and it doesn't mean because they had a bad choice for him in the beginning that it's going to continue.
I'm just saying that it doesn't bode well.
I mean, you think that he's going to win the Money in the Bank, get a title shot, and then he's going to just go back to interrupting cruiserweight matches?
No, actually, I wouldn't put it past him.
It'd be hilarious if he did, because there's no reason to.
When you put it like that, I actually kind of want him to, just because it'd be...
You don't like the guy.
I don't like the guy.
That's just how it is.
I don't like the guy, but if what he's going to do is some iteration of him, getting himself involved in something that doesn't necessarily involve him, but just because he, for some flippant reasons, I hate that guy. It's like, I don't like the look of his... I don't like the cut of his jib.
You've been hating his hairline for a long time.
It is very hateable. It's very hateable. I hated him when he was trying to win with punch matches. I think
that hating a guy because of his hairline is kind of a crappy reason.
I'm saying it doesn't help, but I'm if he had that same hairline, but he didn't have those goddamn punch matches, if he didn't just rely on the same 3 moves every single match he was having, or if he wasn't dressing up like a goddamn goof with ugly pants and these fucking tiny little rat's eyes of his, then I would be much kinder.
So you hate Roman Reigns because he's too good, because he got where he is because he's good looking, and you hate Baron Corbin because he's ugly.
And I hate Baron Corbin because he doesn't know how to use his ugliness other than just, put his ugliness on blast.
Sounds like you're going for the artificial aesthetics a little too much here.
I'm thinking that... I'm just saying that, because I don't like a guy and because of how he looks and how he talks and how he wrestles, all of a sudden I'm being superficial.
You've been hating on his looks for a long time.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
I haven't.
You saw that guy the first time you saw him and you hated him.
Oh, yeah.
You were like, you just hated the guy's looks.
Yeah, I'm not trying to hide it. I hate how he looks, and I hate how he talks, and I hate, for the most part, how he wrestles. Outside of his like
you're
technique.
contradicting yourself. You said that you liked seeing him wrestle.
I like seeing him when he has the good ring awareness. At the beginning of his match, I hated it when he had those back. I know I'm backpedaling. I know that I'm backpedaling, but I'm not. But I'm sticking to my guns. I hate how he looks, and I hate how he talks. I'm sticking to my guns on that.
Okay, so do you like how he wrestles or not like how he wrestles? I know it's not black and white, but
I used to hate how he wrestles.
Okay.
I misspoke on that.
Well, so did I.
I hate how he wrestles.
The punch matches were boring, and he had a repertoire of like three moves.
2 or 3.
At first it was like 2, but then it became 3. Then it became 4. The soldier became a captain, became a gladiator, became a...
Okay, now I think you're coming to his defense a little too quickly here.
Look, I'm not saying the guy's the perfect fucking package, but I'm interested. I'm very interested.
It's like, I hate his gimmick.
I think that there's
I hate his gimmick. I hate the way he talks. I hate the way he looks. He's improved dramatically in the ring, but every so often when he reverts back to that punch style of matches that he made his bread and butter on back in the beginning of his WWE career, it just reminds me why I hated him in the first place. And not saying what kind of goddamn...
Well, you are tempering my my interest in him.
Yeah.
And then, let's be honest, I'm never going to wear his merchandise because I'm going to have to wear like a wolf shirt. That's one of the poor things about his merchandise.
He's like goddamn those goddamn wolf shirts. Now who's being superficial for the clothes he wears?
Yeah, I know.
God, those fucking wolf shirts. Why don't you just put a trench coat on and a fedora while you're at it? Actually, a fedora would be better because then you'd be able to hide that hairline.
I mean, like, do you want him to like own it more? Or?
I don't know what I'd want him to do because there's just
because I think that like the greasy
hair
hair just flailing all over the place, and he's like this frickin', like he's in a...
He looks like Pickles the drummer. And that goddamn skullet of his. But the thing is, that's a joke. That is a joke. There's nothing... What Baron Corbin looks like is not supposed to be taken as a joke, and yet it is. I guess if he must have the skullet, recognize it as a joke. Don't try to play it off like he's being cool, because it's not. Nothing is less cool than a guy who's trying so desperately hard to hold on to what little hair he has left by trying to grow it out. It looks bad on the balding hippie who puts all his hair in a ponytail in the back. It looks bad on the guy who decides on hair plugs, and it looks bad on him.
Well, what if he shaved it off and went for like the shaved head Kurgan look?
That's fine. I don't mind a lot of guys shave their head bald. Like Stone Cold Steve Austin shaved his head because he was going bald.
Yeah.
And Kurt Angle shaved his head because he was going bald. And it all worked for him. Well, I'm not necessarily thinking it's going to work for... Oh, God, I'm picturing him bald. His face would literally look like a cue ball if somebody sharpied in 2 eyes and a nose. And a big old frowny face because he's tough. So that was Money in the Bank. I don't feel like talking about this goddamn person. And now he's Mr. Money in the Bank, so I'm going to be seeing a whole lot.
I love it.
I'm going to be seeing a lot more of this fucking mug. I hope you're happy with WWE. Great main event to a very erratic pay-per-view, but on the whole, I think I liked it.
Yes. Agreed.
Next is Great Balls of Fire, which, they're doubling down on it. They're doubling down on the name, including licensing the goddamn Jerry Lee Lewis song. I mean, how could they not if they're going to name it goddamn Great Balls of Fire? Including getting the goddamn wrestlers to try to recite the lyrics to the song. Like they're getting punked. It's...
Oh, that was awkward.
Well, at least their main events is something to look forward to. Dream matchup and everything.
Look like the segments of seeing if kids remember old songs. It's like, hey, you know this beat?
It does look. It does look like it was shot by and edited by the Fine brothers. So
like it's wrestlers. They're not teens trying to remember nostalgia. Oh fuck! But that's how they're shooting it. They have like Samoa Joe Cafe, and the. Oh, that's terrible.
Oh yeah.
That's so dumb.
Like, and you're trying to sell a pay-per-view on the aspect of it being a drive-in movie theater, when drive-in movie theaters, I think, went the way of the dodo at least 30 years ago.
Who's the fuck's gonna go to Samoa Joe's Cafe?
Actually, if I'm being honest, I might. I mean, that sounds good. Samoa Joe's Cafe.
He's gonna, like, shit in your burger. Just because he can.
But he's probably gonna have some awesome Hawaiian barbecue.
He's gonna eat the awesome Hawaiian barbecue, all of it, so that he can go get bigger, and he's gonna shit in your shake. You're gonna have a shit shake, a Samoa shit shake.
He's not Chinese, okay? He's not gonna try to pee in my Coke or something. So
Samoa Joe is like the biggest fucking asshole. That's his gimmick.
I thought he was just mean. You know, that's mean, man. He's not so much like a petulant little asshole like he was like he's Eminem in the Slim Shady music video where like spitting in my onion rings. I don't think he's that petulant. Like he's like Samoa Joe in the little paper hat and like at the manning the grease trap and everything and just hawking loogies on his burgers at his diner. Do you really think he'd actually be doing that?
I don't know. I've never been to his diner.
Till next time.